Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Livestream Impact. I know we're usually on Fridays, but we're hanging out on Tuesday for the International Women's Day. Woo, I'm so excited.
Yes.
A rock star panel of women that we are going to bring up and introduce here in a minute. We are going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the show, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. But Letecia, why don't we talk about what International Women's Day is?
Yes. So definitely International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, of us, right? The day also marks the call to action for accelerating gender parity. A significant activity is witnessed worldwide as groups come together and celebrate women's achievements or rally for women's equality. Very important, y'all. Marked annually on March 8th, International Women's Day, IWD, right, is one of the most important days of the year, celebrating women's achievements, raise awareness about women's equality. We are excited to celebrate the women here because they make up such an important part, guys, of our community of live streamers. We are so happy that you guys are here with us.
Yes, I love that. Okay, and so every year with International Women's Day, there is a theme. Last year's theme was Choose to Challenge. And we did an awesome panel last year of some amazing women. Letecia, you were actually on my panel.
Yes. Oh, we had a great time. Yes.
I love this.
Yes.
So this year's International Women's Day campaign theme is Break the Bias. Yes. And that is the symbol for it. So you'll see pictures. If you go look up the hashtag on Instagram, you're going to see this all over the place of Break the Bias. So imagine a gender equal world, a world free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, a world that is diverse, equitable, and inclusive, a world where difference is valued and celebrated. Together, we can forge women's equality. Collectively, we can all break the bias. Individually, we're responsible for our own thoughts and actions all day, every day. We can break the bias in our communities. We can break the bias in our workplaces. We can break the bias in our schools, colleges, and universities. Together on International Women's Day and beyond.
That's right.
Whether deliberate or unconscious, bias makes it difficult for women to move ahead. Knowing that bias exists isn't enough. Action is needed to level the playing field. So we are so excited for our amazing panel of women, and I'm going to start to bring them up and introduce each of our guests. So first, I've got Agata Pawlak. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Is the content creator, social media manager, live stream producer, and co-founder of Cruise Creative Media. Her favorite type of content is video, which she believes is the key to success on social media. I like that. At Cruise Creative Media, she works with international brand personalities in a demanding, fast-paced environment, delivering content all around the world. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Awesome. So excited to have you here. So next, Letecia, why don't you introduce our next guest?
Yes. So we got Miss Daryll Wharton. She is a best-selling author, transformational speaker, certified weight loss coach. She has lost over 400 pounds, guys. 400 pounds. She utilizes her personal experiences and former struggles with weight coaching certification and degrees in social work, psychology, and special education to create a results-driven coaching service. Using her signature method, she teaches women who have over 100 pounds to lose her step-by-step program with guidance so that they can push past where they keep getting stuck on their wellness journey. I'm so happy you're here, love.
Thank you. That. Congratulations on the weight loss too. That is amazing. Okay, next up we have my friend Winnie Sun. Hello, Winnie.
Hello, my friends. How are you?
Good. So Winnie is one of the most trusted financial voices on social media today. With 20 years of experience in the financial services industry, Winnie serves as the managing director of Sun Group Wealth Partners, CNBC Financial Advisor Council, Forbes contributor, regular on Good Day Los Angeles, and is also a TV host of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Roku. Her trending business tweet chat averages over 150 million impressions per week. Wow. That is amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm just so excited about this panel and all of these amazing women who all have different backgrounds and all have different experiences and cultural experiences. And when I put these panels together, I specifically go and look for women that are of all different places around the world, education, background, different spots in your journey on your path of where you're at as a woman. And so I love that we can really bring together this amazing culmination of women. But what I want to know to start off with is, where are you with your journey? How did you get to where you are today? Because I know for myself, I took a very unconventional path. I didn't do the go to college, graduate from college, find my career, and be in my career and grow up. I took such an unconventional path. So I would love to know the path that you guys took.
Well, I know for myself, if you look inside of the dictionary for the word detour, you will see my face next to it. So I have been on this weight loss journey since the age of 7. My mother took me to Weight Watchers. And throughout those years, I joined Weight Watchers several times, at least 20 times. And it had just gotten to the point where now the weight was a risk for my life. And so I don't regret the journey because it led me here to where I am. And now I can help women to just wake up feeling amazing no matter what the number says on the scale. But, I missed out on a lot of things in high school when my friends were going to Six Flags and amusing parks. I couldn't fit on the rides. But it's okay because I took a lesson from that. And so I'm glad for all of the detours that I have had to take.
Yes. Sometimes the detours make the end, and we're not at the end, but make where you're at now such a better spot. Because had I not had all the detours myself, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
That's right.
So I welcome every one of those.
Yes.
Agata, Winnie, what about you? Who wants to go?
Yeah.
Jump in, Agata.
Yeah, okay. So, I also have quite a long story. It's very difficult for me to answer that question because I have been changing my life so many times, starting with the fact that, I'm Polish, so I was born in Poland, but I have lived in 4 different European countries. I have studied and worked in 4 different European countries. I have worked in different industries. I'm from a family where my dad is an actor, my mom is a kindergarten teacher, so I was both very artistic as a child. I was makeup artist for many years. I was a manager for a big cosmetic company. I obviously work in social media now, which was also kind of connected to what I used to do. So I definitely am kind of a person who was always amongst my friends. She's the crazy one. She's going to change. She's going to do this. Oh, everybody's afraid of doing it. You bet you Agata is going to do it, So I definitely... it took me a while to get where I am, and it wasn't easy because, again, now I'm living, for those of you who don't know, I live on a very small island on the Atlantic Ocean on Tenerife. It's Spain, but it's on the coast of Africa. And when I arrived here, with no plan, again, changing my life, again, wanting to work online, which was not a very popular thing to do here. It took me a few years to be where I am and to be able to work with the international clients while still being in a very remote location. So yeah, I think I'm an epitome of going against what everybody advises me.
That's right. That's like the best way sometimes.
I love that.
Yes.
Though, women who are making the changes and making the things happen are the ones that are going against the norm.
That's right.
And going against the norm is what helps break the bias.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to go with the theme on that.
Teaching little girls that you don't have to do what is expected of you.
You go.
We train our little girls to not listen to their intuition, and you have to do this, and you have to get married, and you do absolutely do not. You can do what you want to do, and it's so important to do
on your own terms.
Yeah.
Now, Winnie, you are in what is generally considered a very male-dominated field.
Yes.
So I would love to hear your journey on how you got to where you are.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Julie, and teacher. Thank you so much for having me here. Absolutely. I will say that in my industry, I am a what they call single digit. There's single digits of me in the financial industry, but my journey was sort of honestly very accidental. Being a financial advisor was never on my radar. And actually, it happened because 3 months before I started college, and bear in mind that, my parents were immigrants from Taiwan. I had sold avocados in my front yard when I was 7, 8 years old. I was
Mhm.
working at a pizza store when I was 9, 10 at my parents' pizza store, running the cash register when I was a kid. And about 3 months before starting college, I had gotten into good schools, right? Like typical Asian kid, all I did was study. So got good grades, got to good schools. And one day my mom pulls me aside. And bear in mind, my mom is the type of person that she could go to war, right? She could like take on a whole army because she's like tough as nails. And she was always my role model of like, we can do anything.
That's right.
And I remember seeing her like what I call shiny eyeball, meaning she came to talk to me and I noticed like it looked almost like she was crying, but I know she wasn't crying because she doesn't cry, right? And she said, remember that thing that dad and I invested in like, years ago. Our friends told us to invest in. I was like, oh yeah, it was an apartment building in Hemet, like, in Southern California. And she goes, well, they went bankrupt. So we went bankrupt. So
Mm.
you can't go to that school of your first choice or your second choice. You can't
Mhm.
go early admission. You can't go to where you're supposed to go. Because, like my dad at this point felt so guilty. He couldn't work anymore. So my mom had to work not only to send me to school. Send me to school was a whole other thing. 'Cause I knew I had financial aid and loans, but I needed to help my mom keep the house.
Mhm.
So that was sort of that turning point of realization of the importance of understanding how finances work and everything
Mhm.
else. So I ended up going to UCLA, and at UCLA, I interned everywhere. So and everybody was try to find like where to rush, which sorority to rush, which club to join, which friends to make. The first thing I did was find work. So I was juggling 3 to 4 jobs throughout my college career. I ended up starting a television audience production company which ended up being the second largest in the United States. I was moving
Wow.
people for America's Funniest Home Videos, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and all
Wow.
these MTV shows, thousands of people per week while juggling full time at UCLA. And so eventually I ended up selling it and I was recruited to work at Smith Barney. And to give you an idea of how interesting it was, is I was very proud. I actually put on my first suit. My mom was like, "Oh my gosh, she has a real job. She's not working in TV anymore." And then this male advisor comes in the office, very friendly, and he says, "Welcome to the office." And I was like, "Thank you. I'm so excited to be here." And he's like, "Wow, the manager got a great bonus hiring you. You're a double minority." And I was like,
Wow.
wait a
Ooh.
minute. I'm like 20 something years old. I've never heard that term before. I was born and raised in Los Angeles, right? So
Mhm.
I thought of myself as obviously Asian, but American. And that was sort of my big aha moment where I was like, how am I going to walk back to the elevator at the end of the day? Because that's how
Mhm.
everybody feels. That's why I'm
Mm.
here. And then I remember 24 years old, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to earn my place here. I'm going to get to the corner office faster than anybody in this office, and I'll show you what I can do. And
That's
that was
right.
it. That's how my financial journey sort of accidentally went in.
I love
That's
that. Oh my
powerful. Oh
gosh.
my gosh. Yeah.
That's amazing. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what some of you have faced in your careers as we go
Yes.
along. Uh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Bring us to our next questions. How do you feel about the trend that shows women are underrepresented?
I don't even know if you should call it a trend. It's just a pure fact, right?
Yes.
So I think that it doesn't deter me from doing what I want to do. I just recently decided that I was also going to go into real estate, and that's a male dominated area, and I am coming in with guns blazing. So, it may be a trend, but I look at it as a challenge and a way to actually give back to the world and give back to all of, my focus is always on our little girls, because we have to change their mindset about you have to do certain things and demand to know their worth and be able
Mm-hmm.
to speak up at work when you find out that two men that are doing the same thing that you are doing and they're making more than you. My husband and I, we have three girls, 15, 16, and 17, and they're going to be ones that will say, "Can I talk to you for a second? Because I just found out," and so and so, so and so, because I make sure that they know that they're worth. So trends, it doesn't matter. I just think we should just come in with guns blazing.
And I think that Winnie also said, like, that one sentence, "I will show them." And I think that we all were like, oh yeah, we all had a
Yeah.
moment in our lives and careers when we are like, really, you underestimate me? Well, I will show you. Because probably if we weren't this type of people, we wouldn't be sitting here right now. I mean, it's a bit sad that we have to do that. We have to kind of bring the guns out and do stuff a little bit even more than maybe others. But yeah, I definitely think that we are all pretty much strong women, aren't we?
And I want to add, I love what both of you said. And I'm going to say these are sort of three things I think are really, really important for women and minorities in general. Any sort of group that needs more representation. Three things are in my mind are important. Number one is obviously education, right? The more education, the more knowledgeable, the more awareness, the more different flavors of people that we get to associate and spend time with, that is our richness. The second thing I think is crucial is financial education. This is so crucial. Like, for example, my youngest is 8 years old, right? I have him set up with a credit card. My 12-year-old, I have him set up with a retirement account, even at 12 years old. These are things that we as women, maybe as minorities, we were never exposed to, but they've been around forever. Financial education is so critical. And that's why I've been volunteering my time speaking to any group that wants to learn about personal finance, these virtual workshops. So actually, if you know any groups, let me know. I would love to speak to them completely free because I think it's important we do. The third thing is collaboration. We need to take hand in hand, hug people, care people, pull people up that look different than us and make sure that we give them opportunities. Teach them about which microphone they should use, which camera they should use, what they should say. Teach them about media training. This is key. These are the three things that we can change. And so what I would invite those who are watching to do is, if you have this knowledge, try to share it with people that don't look like you, that you feel like you can't find, out in the world, because that makes the difference, because so often they feel like they don't matter or they're not heard. And then all it takes is one of us to say, you do matter, and we hear you. And I'll spend 20 minutes with 30 minutes with you. That, those are things that changed our lives at some point. And I think those of us who are women and who have what they quote unquote, when people see, they say, oh, you have success. Well, obviously we all struggled at some point, and we all felt insecure and we felt alone. And those are all human feelings. That gives us an opportunity to just make a difference in someone else's life. So that's knowledge and that's value.
I love that. And I love that you're starting with your kids early.
Yes.
I have just gotten started on that. We got my son the green light card so we could go and monitor everything in it. We've got him set up with planned savings. He's got, his savings for his car already, and he's 12, and his
Yes.
savings for his investing money that we're teaching him about investing. I have gotten such a late start on that financial journey. It might as well have been in a foreign language to me for the longest time. I was so confused by it, and I'm still not thoroughly understanding all of it, but getting better and learning more each day by going, you know what? I have to take these steps and I have to
Right.
put myself in this position. And I don't want to rely on my husband to do that for
Mm-hmm.
me because God forbid something happened to him. Then I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, now I don't know what to do. So
That's right.
taking that power into your own hands and not putting it in somebody else's, I think is such
Yes.
a big deal.
Spot on.
Spot on.
Yeah.
And we also, I feel like, you know, your children are I mean, you think about it. At our age, they're going to be taking care of us when we're 80 and 90. So we want our, girls and boys, but we want our girls to have that fight and to speak for us when we get to that age where we may not be able to make, decisions. As a special educator by trade, and I was taught too, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. And it's like, so now we have a shortage of welders and tradesmen and carpenters, and women can do those jobs and they make just as much money as someone who has, 12,000 degrees. And I think we need to make sure that there are options. And, at the end of the day, we just want our children to just be productive citizens and give back to the world and wake up feeling amazing
Right.
without all of
Yes.
this heaviness on them.
That's
That's
right.
what life
That's
is
right.
about. Yeah.
Daryll, I'll share with you, and of course, everybody watching. In a past life, I was a motorcycle mechanic.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
I
so
like
cool.
that.
You can
I
go
knew
do
you
those.
were a little edgy, Julie. I knew it.
So awesome.
Yes.
So exactly what you said there, though. Those women can go do those trades.
Absolutely.
Right.
It ended
And
up
make
not being the
money.
right long-term journey for me.
Yeah.
But that piece of that journey led to where I'm at now. And I'm so grateful for that piece of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
I know it's always one of those those off things that people are just like, wait, what?
Yeah. But
Um,
how great would it be if 10 years, or let's say 3 years from now, you say that and people aren't surprised because they know 5 other women who are mechanics. That's
Exactly.
where we
Right.
need to get to.
At the time that I went to the school, there were probably 200 people plus. There might have even been there was probably 1,000 actually enrolled in the school at the time, and there were 5 women out of 1,000 people
But
enrolled.
I'll tell you what, I mentioned to you before that I lived in few countries in Europe, and one of those countries was Sweden. And Sweden is, written about as one of the most equal countries. Generally, Scandinavian countries are super, super equal. And me coming from Poland, which is not too bad because I live in big cities, when I went to Sweden, I was surprised to see that many bus drivers women, because even bus drivers women were not very popular in Poland at the time.
Right.
A lot of construction workers being women, but also on the other hand, kindergarten teachers who were men, because that was not very common in Poland. My mom is kindergarten teacher. She wasn't allowed to hire a man, so that was the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because parents didn't like it. But
Yeah.
but in Sweden, it was very interesting to see that women, even in physical jobs, they were doing great, and it was past the point that it was surprising anybody. There was no surprise. The society was just like, for people coming from abroad, it was like, wow, it's so cool. For them, it was normal. They've been like that for
Yeah.
70 years. It's amazing. It's amazing. I wish we could all be like that.
Yes. It's getting there. It definitely is.
Love that. Okay, so we talked a little bit about yours, Winnie. You kind of touched on this one already, but if you have another story, by all means, jump in and share it too. But is there a point in your career where you faced bias, whether it was gender, race, a disability, an illness, any bias of any sort, and how did you overcome it?
Sure, I can jump in again. I think, this is something we can all relate to. I think, regardless of where you are, I'm in Southern California. And I think that, we're fortunate to be here because I think there's a lot of openness and people talk a lot about things. But even like I remember being pregnant with my first child, and in the financial industry, it was really tough. There weren't many of us that did that. In fact, I remember calling human resources and saying, so I'm pregnant, what does this look like? What can I expect? And they're, oh yeah, well, there's maternity leave and this and that and this and benefits. I'm like, oh, great. And then they kept going. I said, well, I'm a financial advisor, not an assistant. And they the line went silent. And she's like, I'm gonna have to call you back. I was like, okay. So about a couple hours, she calls me back and she says, you need to talk to your manager. And I was like, talk to my manager. This is literally the world's largest financial institution. This is part of Citigroup, right? And I was like, okay. And this wasn't that long ago. So then I went to the manager and I said, so what happens now? And he's like, well, you have a couple choices. You can have everybody else handle your clients, or you can find a partner to handle your clients temporarily, and then you come back when you're ready. And I said, okay, so let me get this right. So all these clients I've worked at for years right now, I'm supposed to give them to somebody else and hope when I come back that they're going to still be mine, right? Now, I was really, really fortunate because I had a friend in the office. And so he and I have been business partners now for 20 years. So I've been very grateful, but or almost 20 years. But the thing is, I had somewhere safe that would handle my clients. Otherwise, in the financial industry, this is what happens. They distribute the clients and they say like, oh, Winnie's so happy being a mom. We don't know if she's going to come back. And so I'm happy to take care of you now. And this, so that's unfortunate. Even in 2022 today, there is no maternity leave program for financial advisor women because there's so few of us. Believe it or not, 2022, right? So I think that to me, it just boggles my mind that there isn't some sort of program. Forget about like nursing your child, or pumping out. Forget about all that. That's like that would be great. That's like Disneyland and balloons. But even as simple as that. So I remember my first child, I hid my pregnancy until like I was like 6 or 7 months. I was wearing black suits the whole time. I didn't want anybody to know because like you felt like there were vultures coming like, oh, are you pregnant? So then rumors, my sister's like, everyone thinks you're getting fat. You should just tell people. You can't hide it. I'm like, okay. So finally told them. And then that's what happened. Everyone started becoming my friend. Everybody wanted to be my friend because they wanted to take my content. But luckily, that was what was happening. So to me, that is unfortunate. And I hope it gets changed. But that also led me to start my own firm because I realized that it was, in order to change, sometimes you just got to change with what you can control, which is your own situation.
That's right. That's right.
So now I got 3 kids. And I'm in the financial industry.
Yes. I love that. Yes.
For me, I face bias just with my weight loss coach title because I'm still considered by society that I'm still plus size. And it's like, no, I don't think you understand. It's not necessarily weight loss, but it's wellness. And I'm not trying to be a size 2. I am cute, curvy, confident, and I love my curves. I want to make sure my blood pressure is good, my blood work looks good. Can I get up off the floor if I fell? Those are the things that are most important. And those types of people really live a long time.
That's right.
Not a number on the scale. And so I face it all the time. And I just come head on like, you cannot stop this waking up feeling amazing. That's, one of my taglines, because as soon as I open up my eyes, I'm so grateful. And you cannot trade the security of being secure with yourself and where you are, and not worry about what other people think. So I say weight loss coach, weight loss coach, weight loss coach, weight loss coach. Nah. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm glad you emphasized on wellness. That's so important because us women, we have all these hidden, illnesses sometimes that comes up when we're much later in age, for us to really focus on our wellness. That's just fun. It's very important.
Well, and can we just talk about throwing that whole BMI thing out the window?
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh.
Because in clothing, I'm a small in clothing. But according to the BMI, I fall in the overweight category. And I'm like, that thing needs to go out the window and be done with.
Yes, I agree too.
And it messes with your psyche. It messes with, and I try to tell my clients, please don't get on the scale every day.
Yes.
You're going to do nothing but ruin your entire day and worrying about every single thing you put in your mouth. And it's just not fair. It's not fair at all.
So how often do you recommend getting on the scale then?
I will get on the scale once a month just so you can calculate. Sometimes you need your weight to calculate some of the other things that you want to look at.
Like how much water you're supposed to drink.
Yeah, exactly. And things like that. But we use Sexy Weight Bees, Waist Bees. And she's actually on this live today, Miss Namia Vance. I only buy my waist bees from her. And I tell my clients, get yourself a couple of sets of Sexy Waist Bees and judge yourself by that, or try on something and keep trying it on once a month, because that is a better indicator of weight loss slash wellness and not the
Yes.
numbers on the scale, because we all know what a cycle does to your weight every single
Yes, it
month,
does. You get all
right?
bloated.
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah,
fair to be
waist beads are the
judged.
best.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and they're sexy. Don't forget that. That's the number one reason why you want a couple of waist beads. So
Yes.
yeah,
I love that.
Absolutely.
important.
So, Agata, what about you? Is there a point where you have faced bias?
Oh God, how much time do we have?
I'll
Go
start
ahead,
shaking in my
sis.
ear when we got to stop you.
No, well, I'll just do a few brief points. Well, definitely, I think we all face multiple biases, right? It's sometimes hard to know why we're being treated or overlooked for specific things or in specific situations. Just one thing that comes to my mind is that, like, even having my own company, first of all, I am not native English speaker, right? And I clearly have foreign sounding name.
Mhm.
So I think that is also something that a lot of people look at. And I remember when I was starting to, bidding for the first jobs or for the first clients under my name, I didn't really get a lot of response. So, you know me. You won't let me through the door, I'll come in through the window. And what I did, I started using my partner's name to bid for jobs.
Oh, that's a
And
good
guess
one.
what? He was going on the first conversation, and there was, by the way, there's two of us, and there is also my partner Agata. And once people met me, they had no other reason or no other choice but to love me.
Mhm.
So I'm one of these people that, if you don't let in through the door, I'll come through the window. But I
Bust through
definitely, I
the
don't know.
window. Yes.
Yeah,
I
whether
like
it
that.
was whether it was the bias, if it goes to the language, because I mean, I understand, I do
I'm about to
social media,
quote
I have to
that.
write copy. You see foreign name, you might assume that someone will not be able to do that. And also the fact of there is something about sometimes being a woman that people see you differently. I still have that in my head, that when I'm getting ready for the meeting, because I had that. Ladies, tell me if you've ever had that before. I work online, right? So I work from home. And when I have an important meeting, I put face of makeup on, not because I think that I should, but because
Mhm.
I've been told before that because I don't wear makeup, I look tired. Is everything okay? Am I fine? Because I'm not looking as I was supposed to be looking. I don't know. I'm not put together enough. You know, somehow, other, men don't have to shave sometimes. It's nice, it's
Mhm.
scruffy, it's, all this lumberjack look. But to be fair, sometimes they're also being looked at if they don't shave up, probably a bit badly. But there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I had a lot of stories. I mean, even here coming to Tenerife, as I told you, after living in Sweden, that was wonderful if it goes to equality.
Mhm.
I moved to a very specific region of Spain, which is, I think, around 60 years behind Europe overall. Like, we're 70s. Like, if you see those characters from, shows, British shows from 70s, this sleazy men working, coming back to their housewives, cheating on them. This is where I live right now. So when I came in here, I actually had a little bit, almost like a sexual harassment situation,
Ooh.
which was not great. It was
Mhm.
literally day one, man in a position of power trying to use his power to get with the female girls who were, working under him. And I think the saddest part of it all is that I have complained to his boss even higher, who was a woman,
Mm.
and she took his side.
Yeah.
That happens a lot in corporate
Yeah.
too. Yep.
That was
Mm.
painful.
Yes.
And I think that this is something that we all have to collectively work on, because I mean, if you look why she would do that, of course she didn't want to mess up her job situation,
Mhm.
etc. But obviously it was completely wrong, and I really didn't like, of course, being in that work environment, because I came there to work,
Mhm.
not to be talked to as a piece of meat.
Yep.
So that was definitely something. I remember it was really weird, like being still on the same continent, to move from a country where you never see it. You have very little issues like that in Sweden. Like even in some countries, with tattoos, doctors shouldn't be tattooed or something. There you have everyone tattooed from top to bottom. Your doctor is going to be every single thing that you can think of, that people discriminate on me with my piercing. That was fine. Nobody would not hire me because of that. And then coming to Spain, where all of a sudden you have to cover tattoos, take out your piercings, and men treat you like that in the workplace. That was.
I love that you brought up the appearance look and
Yes.
as women who we are on camera, on screen, and oftentimes even some of us are on stages speaking. You will see a very large difference in the men who can come on camera or who will be on stage and can roll up with a baseball cap backwards, a pair of Nike high tops, jeans, and a t-shirt or a hoodie, and rock it, and the audience will go bananas. But
we can't do that.
We can't do that.
We can't. Even at the same position, you can have the men and the women, the appearance and everything is different. Men can sort of be slack. It's okay. Women, if they're not dressed professionally or look a certain kind of way, they're like, oh, did she really take her job seriously?
I got a shout out though to, I don't know if she's still watching or not, but my girl Kelly Noble Mirabella is one of those that is breaking that bias on that appearance look. Yeah, the face is still put together, but there you go. There's Kelly right there.
But
he's so cute.
She rocked it on stage with a pair of Adidas tennis shoes, some jeans, a nice top, but totally came out and was like, you know what? I'm going to be me. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't be me.
We should do that.
We should. Yeah. If that fits your identity, go with it. I think that's so important about.
But that's one of those things that is harder to shift and change, that many women are going, am I going to be taken seriously? Right. Am I going to be listened to? Are they going to hear what I'm saying? Or are they going to just be staring at me going, she's in jeans and a t-shirt, and that is not how a woman should appear.
But as I said as well, we have to stop doing it to each other.
Yes.
It happened to me because I started to have ankle problems. So I literally cannot wear high heel shoes. So I am exclusively wearing trainers. And I had people being like, you're wearing trainers for this women to this occasion? And I'm like, do I have to explain myself, really?
And you shouldn't have to explain yourself.
Exactly.
Just like for me, I have arthritis in my knees, and sometimes I will put on, tennis shoes, and it's like I can't worry about your thoughts, and I shouldn't have to explain, why I have on tennis shoes today. And they say beauty is hard work. No, it isn't. Beauty comes from within, and it will show. And, sooner or later, people are not even going to worry about tennis shoes because they're going to be listening to you.
Every word that comes out of your mouth.
Exactly. So I'm not explaining anything to anybody. Either you like my cute little shoes or you don't.
Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
I definitely segue into this next question, which is, according to Glassdoor, only 43% of women are open to taking risks in their career. So, ladies, what is some of the biggest risks you've taken, and was it worth it?
I would say for me, in this business, and I was a little self-conscious at first, because people don't know my story. And I'll often like to tell people, do not judge me on a chapter you walked in on, boo. You need to go back to chapter 1. My highest weight was 674 pounds. And if you think that because you see me being plus size, that I'm going to care about what you think, my life has completely did a 180.
Absolutely.
And I still did not lose the weight for anybody else. I lost it to save my life. And, you just cannot worry about what people think. You just cannot. So, I decided absolutely I'm going to say weight loss coach, because I went from life coach, health coach. I was just walking all around, dancing all around that weight loss coach, because I didn't want people to look at my picture and say, well, what kind of weight loss coach is she? But then I had to say, look, you just need to watch me. And if you want to wake up feeling absolutely amazing, then you need to jump right on this bus right here. No matter
I got to share this story about you, Daryll. And me and Daryl have been following each other for a long time. When I was looking at her social media, her old pictures, I thought it was a completely different person. I thought like when she would do her side by sides, I'm like, oh, is she going live with that lady? And it was her back when she was over 600 plus pounds. So you're all about the transformation, honey. And it blew my mind. And for months, I would think, and until I was like, oh, that's you. Like you would tell me, like, yeah, you lost over 400 pounds, but to actually visually see that, it's just, oh my gosh, it's so transformational. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, I'll share a story about risk, because I think, being in the financial industry, a lot of people, we manage risk for a living, right? This is what we do. And I remember, and I think a lot of us can relate to this, of deciding when to shift, right? When to take a chance. Maybe you're working a 9 to 5 and maybe you decide you want to go freelancing, or maybe you're like just going to change companies and hope for the best and hope the new company's better. Well, I had worked at Smith Barney, which eventually got bought out by Morgan Stanley. So Morgan Stanley, Smith Barney, and it became Morgan Stanley. And my manager, who was my mentor, he left the firm when Morgan Stanley bought out. It just became unbearable for him. And at that point, I said, you know what, here was someone who really understood women, understood minorities, really supported me and embraced me and really helped me reach another huge, potential number that I never thought I would reach. And when he left, I knew that I should probably look as well. And at the time, we got a lot of offers because I was young, I was female, and I was doing quite a bit of business. I had clients such as DreamWorks Animation. I had huge clients. I was working with all these big companies. And what happened was I decided to start my own firm. Didn't take the check, just decided I'm going to start my own firm and do my own thing. Well, when I turned in my resignation letter to my ex-manager, this is what he said. He said, "Did you tell your husband that you're quitting today? Because you just committed career suicide. You will die in a few years. You will not succeed. That's it for you. I hope your husband knows what you did today. Because good luck. Good luck to you. Get in the elevator, get here. I never want to see your face again. And you have completely dropped off. You'll be dead. There's no, forget, you might as well go wait on tables. This is not something you should ever do again." That's what he said. And I remember going down the elevator. I was so nervous. I was with my business partner. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, of course he didn't say this to him. I was like, "Oh my gosh." And I'm like, I don't know. And then I went and we went off site. I started, reaching out to my clients, and my mentor was waiting for me at the other place. And John, he goes, "You're going to be just fine." He's like, "Today is your new day. We're going to make it happen." But you know what? They did everything in their best. It was just horrible. It was awful. But I remember that. And I remember that fear of not knowing whether I'd be okay again and having someone shake you to the bone. Because they could. But I remember thinking, thank goodness I'm not working for this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I mean,
sure.
It was that. So,
well, and I am so glad you had a mentor standing by to hear that and to tell you that you were going to be okay. Because there are so many women that would hear that and it would break them. It would crush them and it would end them. And that they would just be like, "I'm done." So one lesson is make sure that all of you have an empathetic witness, have somebody that is in your corner that you can go to and is going to stand behind you and say, "Girl, get your butt back up.
Yep.
You got this.
You got this." Yeah. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
But thank you.
What about you?
God, after this story, I don't Well, I definitely have taken risks. As I told you, when I was working in Sweden, I was a sales manager for the big cosmetic company. I was running the branch in the northern Sweden. So I had everything set up for me. I could easily stay and continue. It was great environment, predominantly women, right? Because just naturally women are more interested in makeup. So a lot of powerful women there, great environment, but I just wasn't happy in Sweden, dark, very, very dark all year round. And a lot of my friends left, etc. So I decided to come here to Spain. And I remember I started working in this company that I previously told you, so obviously not the greatest experience. But since I came here to Tenerife, I decided that I will have my own company. And I worked 2 jobs. I worked with that boss for over a year. And I was grinding, with my own business, which was exhausting. We both did it, me and my partner. We had physical jobs, we had difficult jobs, and yet we kept on doing it. And there were very, very difficult times. And I remember we started to get first clients, but like clients that pay you nothing, right? Or you just do it just to have a client, just to learn, and etc. And then COVID hit, and we lost them all in 1 second, because they were all related to tourism originally when we were starting, because I live on a very touristic destination. And that was difficult time, very difficult time. Nobody knew, obviously, what was going to happen, and either we had turned online or I don't know. We were ready to move. We were ready to move back to Poland or to another country, to try to find something else during pandemic. So that was very stressful. But I persisted, and I remember when I was quitting my cushy job, in Sweden with a good salary. In Sweden, they pay fantastically. And the manager was not my manager, but the person that I was working with came over to me, and she was like, "You're moving away." I'm like, "Well, to Spain, to Tenerife." I'm like, "You're brave." And she left. And I was like, "Yes, I am."
That's right.
And again, you watch me, So it was 2-3 years of hardship, sometimes, and grind. I guess, pandemic hit us all in one way or the other. But now I did it. I made it. And I'm very happy for all the risks I have taken, because if I didn't, I would still be in the same district in Poland that I grown up in, and I would be doing the same thing as all my schoolmates are doing. But now I'm living on a tropical island, working online with international clients.
Nice.
Yes.
I often ask myself, I'll say, if I question myself, I know that the next question will always be, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why can't you?
Yep.
Why, I'll say to my husband all the time, why can't we move to another country if we want to?
Yes.
Why not? And
what if
you
it does work out?
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Why not me?
Right?
Exactly. And guess what? If it doesn't, you still have that right to say, okay, well, then I'll move back.
Exactly.
That's where I was.
It's like
I
cutting your hair.
happen.
Your hair's going to grow back.
My coach told me one time, she said, "Who told you you can't do that?
Yeah.
Who told you?
Why not?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. Do these things, make these changes, take these leaps forward. I'm going to skip ahead a little and then come back to the next question I want to ask. But I want to since we're wrapping up here at the top of the hour, I want to give everybody a chance to enter the giveaway.
Yes.
We're going to do a StreamYard swag pack. So we'll get all your information if you win and do that. So what I want is, now that you've heard what our panel has done to break the bias, and I've got one more question from them still to ask them, we want to hear from our audience. Use the hashtag #BreakTheBias and tell us how you plan to help break that bias. So I'm going to put that banner up. And use the hashtag #BreakTheBias. Tell us how you plan on doing that and making these changes in your life. And this is for men and women.
Yes.
Because men have to make the change too. Women have to stand up for it. We all play a part in breaking the bias. So I'm going to give you guys all a chance to start entering those into the giveaway. In the meantime, I want to know from each of you on our panel, what advice would you give to women who are working to break the bias?
Oh my, I don't think we have all day for that. I think the first advice what I would say is, you must find yourself. You must, if you have to recreate or realign yourself with yourself. I often tell my clients, give yourself a nickname, your subconscious mind, and refer to yourself as that nickname, because for some reason we are way nicer to other people and help them out. So make yourself into two people, and you are responsible for this person's name. My nickname is Pepper. And so I know that Pepper does whatever I tell her to do. She's working in the background 24/7, helping me to make my dreams come true. And so I would say to people, if you have to put yourself as two people so you can redevelop and recreate that relationship, so that Pepper knows that you and her can do anything if you guys put your head together
That's
and do it
right.
like that. Because we often will, us as women, I know I've given my last bite of food to one of my children, and then I'm hungry, or I've given them my takeout, and then I'm hungry 2 hours later. And that's what we do. And so it's okay to say no with a period, no explanation behind it. And if they say why, then you'll say, that's really not a best choice for me right now. That's it. I don't have to explain. No is absolutely no with a period at the end.
That's right.
Period.
Mine is
And-
Tropicana.
I have to come up with one. But if I can add to that, because I have something quite similar, that I would say that the very important thing is to trust yourself and to trust in your own ability. Because like you said, even if you will fail, you have to trust that you will find the way out of any situation. And trust that who you are is enough, because I see that a lot of times we as women, when we are being told that we are strong and we are this, we kind of try to be like men. You know what I mean? To be successful, to be strong, I have to have this masculine qualities about myself. I'm going to be loud, I'm going to be this. Then we're called intimidating, of course. If we're strong, we're called intimidating. But it's like, if you're a gentle, soft woman, you can still succeed being you. And we need you to show people that if you are soft, gentle woman, you can still kick, what, and you can still get wherever you want to get. Because you don't have to have this this typical thing, that we do. I am very masculine kind of energy anyway, but you don't necessarily have to be this aggressive. I'm gonna show them. Just be you, and we need you, and trust yourself that you will find way out of everything, and don't
That's
trust
right.
what other people talk about you. Just like
Yes.
Winnie was saying before.
That's
I
right.
adore you. I love you all so much. And I completely agree with you. You can be your own woman. I've always thought silent is golden. Silent but strong works just fine for me. But let me tell you, these are three things I would suggest everyone think about. And these, I really thought about this before we came on. And number one thing I would challenge everyone to continue to ask themselves. And I know Julie, kind of like a variation of what Julie said. And I think that is to always ask yourself, why not me? Ask yourself that at least once a week. Why not me? But why not me? Right? The second thing I would recommend you do as quickly as possible is you commit to no negatomes in your life. No negative people, no negative voices, no negative thoughts, no negatomes ever. Right? And I would say that sometimes it's going to feel really rough. Like you just have to cut that negative energy out of your life. We can't accept it. It's not okay. The third thing I would say is the sooner you can build a community or have a tribe or support system that is so crucial, whether you be male, female, or any other type. It's very, very important that you have that community support system. And most importantly, remember to celebrate them more even than you celebrate yourselves. And then it'll come back to you, and you'll have people that you can count on, who will be there for you, who will love you. I mean, I'm seeing Chris Stone here, all these other friends that I have that are so incredible. So I think those are the three things. I think if you can commit to those three things for this year, I think it will change your life.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I absolutely love that. And I think it's okay for women to also go, I'm not for everyone.
That's
and
right.
that's okay, because when I don't fit the spot for this particular person, another person will. And we don't have to mold ourselves into something we aren't to appease everyone else. because you are going to find people that like Agata's more high energy or Winnie's calming way of explaining finances that make most of us go, I don't know what I'm doing, because it is such an overwhelming, or somebody who has such an inspirational journey as Daryl's. I mean, to have lost that much weight is so phenomenal. And you are still on your journey and still on your path, and we all are. And so I think it's looking at it and going, I'm okay where I am. I'm continuing to grow. I'm continuing to get better. And I'm not going to be for everyone. Okay. With that, I want us to go ahead and do the giveaway, and then we'll wrap up here at the last couple of things we've got for everyone. So I'm going to bring
Awesome.
giveaway tool. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right, so we got 11 entries. It's the last chance, guys. I'm going to give you just another second. You can put it in. I'm going to take off the banner here in a second since it's covering Winnie's face there.
It's okay.
All right. Okay, we're going to do this.
How fun.
Yay! Congratulations. Is it Iona? Iona. I hope I got that right one of those ways. It's always hard when I'm trying to read it and guess. So what I need you to do is to email marketing@streamyard.com. I had a banner and it is gone. So let me give you a new banner.
Yay, that is one of my mentors, ladies.
Well, awesome.
Woo!
Yay. So
Yes.
email us
Go ahead.
marketing@streamyard.com. I need your address, your phone number, and your t-shirt size, please. And we will get you your prize sent out
I
right
feel
away.
like I won.
Yes. You went
I
together.
love that. That's awesome. So congratulations. So happy for you. Okay. With that, we have had, such an amazing discussion. I really hope that everybody has gotten something to take away from this. What I want you to think about is we had one last question we didn't go over, but I want everybody to take this last question and just think about it.
Right.
What is the biggest challenge facing women in the workplace today? And so really think over that question. And as you come up with your answers, see what you can do to begin to make changes towards those challenges that are being faced. And it can start small because it doesn't have to be, we're going to go, make sure that my company is giving equal pay tomorrow. That's just not realistic. But start small and start figuring out where these challenges exist and how you as an individual can begin to make those changes each and every day. Knowing that bias exists isn't enough. We need to take action to break the bias on International Women's Day and beyond. So I want to thank all of you for being here and for giving us your time, your amazing inspirational stories, your advice, so many mic drop moments. I'm going to be editing this for days, trying to pull out all the little amazing clips and micro pieces of content that are in here that are just so knowledgeable and so awesome. So thank you very much. Do any of you have any parting thoughts real quick? We got a few seconds.
Just thank you for your time. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. Thank you so much.
I froze. Oh, something froze. Okay. Awesome. You guys all have a wonderful day and thank you. Go break the bias.
Bye.